Alright, so welcome back. Last time we got this thing rocked out, and today we're going to have to start working on some makeshift axles. Now, I know there's going to be some of you safety police that are going to start rambling about, this is unsafe, it's going to blow up, you're going to kill people. Zip it. This is just for mock-up purposes. And I'll be sending these shafts out to have them professionally built. So, no worries about things wrecking and that type of stuff and trying to kill people or whatever floats your boat that day. But we're gonna start hacking and hopefully we'll get this thing sorted out. Alright, so we got our axles up here. These are the old Crossfire ones. And these are the Mustang ones. You can see with the Mustang, they've got different stub snouts depending on whether it's passenger or driver side. And then they also strangely have a different diameter. I don't know what their thought process was, whether they figured that the driver's side sees more torque, so they need to make that bigger, and this one can just carry on or whatever, but that's not really any of my problem. So essentially what I'm doing here, I calculated the collapsed length of both of the shafts and the extended length of both of the shafts. So that way I know what and where I can try to cut. And then since the differential is 4.5 inches wider than the old one, the whole thing needs to be a couple inches shorter. So essentially, take this one here. This is, let's just call it 22 1/4, I believe is what I came up with. Yeah, 22 1/4, and that's fully collapsed. Now with the differential being 4.5 inches wider, it needs to be 2 1/4 inches shorter for each shaft. So that means when I come over to the Mustang shaft, from this surface to the old surface needs to be at 20 inches. So that just means we pick a random location on one of the shafts to make a cut, and then we come through and calculate the difference off of here. So I of course did all of that hacking and messing around with stuff, and this is pretty much what I ended up with. So if you can see these little silver notches, this is where I'm going to cut the shaft. Then it should just be a matter of welding it back together. It'll probably have quite a bit of vibrations and unhappiness going on with everything, but I'm hoping a little bit of road test can get her in the right direction and make sure that the suspension cycles properly. But I guess for right now we should just hack these shafts, shove them in the rear end, and then I'll weld it while it's in the rear end. That way I don't have to remove all the links and then drop the spindles out like the previous. So that's the plan. Guess now it's time to drag these over to the saw and just hack them in half. Alright, so that's pretty much all of them. Now it's kind of interesting. The passenger on the Mustang, that's a solid, and then the driver's side is just that wider but gun drilled. So whatever that means. So then we don't, maybe. We don't need this anymore. Or this one. So then all we really have to do is kind of merge these two and these two. These guys here I can just jam back in the differential so I don't get lube all over the place. Okay, now onto this mess. Gonna have to clean up these edges. And then try to do something. I think I can start with this one here. Will be a little bit easier to go. See what we got for random pipes laying around. Yeah. Ooh, that might have possibilities. Alright, so I machined down a shaft to shove in here, and that also locks in here. And there you go. So then we can weld that together, slide the shaft over, weld that down, and then it should be good enough for a couple little experimental rips down the road. But this is driver's side, so I guess we can try to figure out how to shove this into the rear cage. Alright, so this is everything shoved in there. So we just need to get this onto there. And there that is. Well, there we go. I decided I'll leave the big sleeve off just because that way if something doesn't work too well, it'll actually be a little bit weaker, so then it can blow it right off of there and not damage anything. Looks like we got full range. I'm pretty happy with it. Alright, so I got this one welded up a little bit as well. It's not as good as the one over here, but it should be enough to hold, I don't know, 25 horsepower. But essentially I just want to make sure how things move, because since I made this differential a little bit wider, I wanted to make sure it didn't impact how the shafts have to move in and out. Right now it doesn't look like it moves much at all, maybe 1/8 of an inch. So all things considered, I think we're pretty good. I guess I need to go work on stuff in the house, so we'll just have to leave this here, and I'll probably just shove this back in the car one of these other few days that I might have a chance or two. So this is essentially done, and 4 bolts back in the car, and we can move on to other things. So thanks for watching, and I guess I will see you guys later.